and welcome to another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens and Uncle Joe McLaughlin. JP's first son, Tim Hoey, will be coming very shortly. Well, boys, we have another great show for you, so let's get it started. Well, we have to go to the Celtics. First of all, since we last saw you last week, we have to give the Celtics the props. They did win Game 6 and Game 7 to get to this position. So we got to give them something. So they beat a very good Philadelphia team with the MVP and Embiid. And I don't know, did Harden ever win an MVP?
Yes, he did with Houston. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously some big stars. They came through in the clutch, 6 and 7. Then all of a sudden, a team, Miami, who's lucky to be in the playoffs, who beat Milwaukee, they
lost their. By the way, they lost their first playing game.
Right, exactly. We thought we were going to play them the first round, and I guess we were glad that we didn't play them in the first round a long time ago. We're sure glad that we didn't play them in the first round because we may have been eliminated. Last night, we're up by 9 points in halftime, and I have to give it to the professor. You said this is very eerily similar to the Game 1 of the Sixers. I didn't see that. You saw it. You're absolutely correct. Russ, what did you see?
I saw a team play. I mean, they let Miami get comfortable offensively early in the game, really through the first quarter and a half. The difference between the Miami first half and the Philly first half was the Celtics played 5 great minutes of defense at the end of the half and took a 9-point lead. But when you look at those numbers in the half, what Miami shot, it was clear that they got comfortable offensively. And once a team gets comfortable and confident, and they start shooting lights out, it's very easy for your team to get tight. And that's exactly what happened. And they just took off on them. It was a deluge in the third quarter. Same game.
Uncle Joe, this team is not much. Is this team mature enough to win a championship? Because look, the maturity comes in the defensive end. That's not a glamour spot. You got to play deep. You got to get down and dirty.
This team just squanders any good fortune like a 5-year-old with his birthday money. It's just it's very frustrating to watch them, but they do usually bounce back. They are ashamed of themselves or whatever you want to say, and they come back with a better effort the next time. Matter of fact, you're getting more points with Miami in this game than in the first game.
And the Jays, when the Jays first came here as young players, if you remember, a lot of the games they'd get behind by 25, 30 points, and then, maybe you turn it off and then check in, and they'd have a late rally at the end. They'd actually concentrate, and they might even have a shot to tie a game or win a game. That's been their personality since the Jays have come. Yes, they do everything hard, but they don't give a full effort most of the time.
No, they openly talk about how they take their foot off the gas when they get out ahead. And arguably the worst thing that happened to them yesterday was,
Timmy.
They put a little spurt on at the end of the first half, got up by 9 and thought the game was won.
Yeah, patted themselves on the back and took the rest of the night off.
Timmy, we're on the air. So third quarter, as bad of a quarter as we've seen the Celtics play in quite a while.
Yeah. It baffles me how it could even happen.
45 points.
I mean, everything was just dropping. Miami too. I mean, as Doc Rivers said, it's a make or miss league. I don't know.
Here's the thing. It was actually 46 points. Do you know what 46 points is? It's basically 4 points a minute.
That's 200 points in a game almost.
It's 4 points. The Celtics in the third quarter gave up just shy of 4 points a minute.
I know.
And almost every one of those shots, the defender was like 10 feet off the ball.
I mean,
what was Miami's shooting percentage in that quarter? Any idea?
Like it was like 70 something percent. It was
warm up.
it was as bad a quarter of defense as you will ever see in your entire life. And I'm talking about junior high school games, right?
Yes. Yes. If you're letting Kyle Lowry beat you in his present state, if you're letting him beat you like that, then you're literally not doing anything in the court. You're not playing defense at all. And they let him burn him.
No resistance. They just offered no resistance, and you could see it coming. It was like that. I thought maybe, well, they got religion, with 5 minutes left in the first half. And I was texting you, like, played literally like 9 out of 10, 9 out of 11 defensive possessions. They played great defense and shot up to 9. And I thought, okay, well, they figured it out. They know now what they need to do. And they come out of the half, and you literally never see that defense again for the rest of the game.
No. Look, you can't fire the team, so you have to fire the coach, the old saying goes. You can't. You have some level of blame. More than 50% has to go to Missoula. I mean,
I don't know though, Scotty. Like
he should have stopped the bleeding at some point and got everyone together on the same page.
He called 4 timeouts in the third quarter with the way they were playing defense. Like that was they were playing the same team and the same defense that they just let go of the rope. They just didn't try.
But throwing the clipboard, what does he think this is? Hoosiers 2, the sequel? I mean, it just really, that's high school stuff.
The worst part was after the game said, we won 3 out of the 4
Oh, that
quarters.
was awful.
We were in first place. We were in first place for most days of the year.
It was awful.
Yeah, well, that Dan Duquette, right?
Yep, it was very Dan Duquette-ish.
Yeah.
We won 3 quarters, but we lost the game,
But look, and Russ, you've said it before. This is a veteran team. They're highly experienced.
Yeah.
These guys don't need to be coached up every 5 seconds during a game. Ultimately, it's up to them to perform. This is not a rookie team.
You go down the roster and you go, okay, Jaylen Brown. All right, we can pretty much depend on him. Al Horford, okay, we can depend on him. Marcus Smart, we can depend on him. White, we can depend on him. If you look at every guy, you're thinking we're okay. Now they really attacked Pritchard, right? When he was in there.
Well, I don't know what he was
went
doing
after
in there. He did absolutely nothing.
He did nothing. He made no impact in the game whatsoever.
They attacked him when he was in there.
Watching Pritchard defend Butler. Oh, I mean, is that what we're doing here at the Eastern Conference Finals? That was the matchup we thought about in round 1?
Yeah, Spoelstra definitely had the edge in this matchup.
Yeah, they were licking their chops when they saw Pritchard. I mean, I love Pritchard, but they just sought him out,
And guys like Brogdon hasn't played well in I think the whole playoffs.
He's had spurts. He played very well the first half of either game 6 or game 7 versus Philly, and then faded in the second half.
Yeah, we know what he's capable of. The problem is we've seen what he's capable of, and when they don't give us what we've seen, what they're capable of, it's upsetting.
Absolutely. I thought Rob Williams was terrible last night. I thought he just didn't even know how to play basketball.
Boy, it was amazing on offense and on offensive boards. I mean, he kept us in the game in the first 10 minutes.
But defensively,
his defense was weird.
He's never been able to play defense. He's a rim protector.
But it was weird. I noticed like 3 plays on mid-range shots. 2 of them were on Butler, where it didn't even jump. One time he didn't even raise his arms. I don't know if they told him like, don't jump so that you foul. I think they told him like, don't foul, right? And so he went completely the other direction and literally watched Jimmy Butler take a mid-range shot 2 feet from him.
And usually they put him on the worst player on the other team. And so now teams switch so that they get the matchup with him.
Yeah.
Because he just simply can't play defense. He's got no footwork.
We thought Grant Williams was going to play in this series. He didn't play 1 minute. How is Grant Williams not playing and Pritchard is?
Well, Scotty, do we think that he absolutely destroyed any chance of playing in the playoffs by his behavior this year on the court? You remember how much I was hating on him all year. I was hating his guts, like get rid of him. So I'm not that upset that we're not seeing Grant Williams.
Oh,
Well, he could have
yeah,
helped.
but if you can play and you can perform, you're gonna play. I don't see any reason why Missoula would hold him out just because he's a mouthy prick.
Well, look, we knew that Celtics weren't going to sweep them, so we knew they were going to lose a game. We knew whenever they lose a game, we're not going to be happy about it. What's the outlook for the series? To me, obviously they got to win tomorrow night. That's a must win. But if they win tomorrow night, I think we're in very good shape.
Well,
Well,
it'd be like last year, 7.
hang on. I wouldn't say very good shape. The last 16 home teams to lose game 1 have won game 2.
Yeah.
So it's the lock of it. It's theoretically the lock of the century, right? I don't know what the spread is, but I would be
9.
shocked if they lose tomorrow night, because the series is over if they lose tomorrow night. If they win, wouldn't say they're in good shape, but at least they play well on the road, and you take one down in Miami and you're back to where you should be. But this thing's going 7, and if they're lucky, it's going 7 at this point.
Do you think Jimmy Butler can sustain this all series?
Yes.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Yeah.
Well, they got to know. I mean, they had no defensive plan for him.
He is a freak of nature, man, this guy.
In the last 14, they played 14 playoff games in the last 3 series. Miami's won 8 of them, and it's mostly because of Jimmy Butler.
You got to be able to defend him better, though.
He's got balls as big as my head, that guy. He just turns it on. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but they let other guys beat him yesterday, like Martin, Lowry.
Oh, Lowry coming off the bench and going, bing, bing, bing from 3.
Listen, they're not gonna shoot 50% from three for the series.
Well, if you don't defend them like they did yesterday, they'll go 50%.
But I don't see. I figured when I said they would go 7, I figured there would be a game like this. Didn't figure it to be game 1 where they would just melt. And I figured
Russ, if they were listening to the national press, the national press made it sound like the Celtics just had to show up and mail it in, and we were getting it. And you know what's so funny? You watch after whoever wins the game, the entire Fox Sports, ESPN, they can't give enough accolade to the team that won and destroy the team that lost. And the next 2 days later, the exact opposite happens, and the whole tidal wave goes the other way.
Yeah, that's just the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem is that I think there's still a game that Jimmy Butler will score 45 points in and beat you, and so it's the same problem that the Celtics had in the first series. When you lose a game like this, you expose yourself to a really bad shooting night. The Celtics are going to probably go out one of these games and be cold and shoot 25% from 3, and they'll lose. And so now, that's just statistically very likely. So now you're looking at like, well, crap, if Jimmy beats them and they go out and get cold another time, you got to win every other game.
Yeah, no margin for error.
There's no margin for error right now.
And I figure Spoelstra is going to pull one out of the hat too.
Yeah.
A close game. The Celtics have been garbage all year, and Miami has been excellent in close games because it comes down to coaching at the end of games. And
we have faith
Spoelstra has the edge.
Missoula is capable of making some good adjustments.
Sure.
Look, he made an adjustment in the Philly series that won them the series. Congratulations. Good on him. That's great. But he got pantsed last night by Spoelstra.
You know what scares me is they beat Milwaukee in 5.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
The favorite, man. They're like giant slayers,
In the playoffs, you have to make adjustments, not just from game to game, but during the game.
Yeah.
And obviously Miami did last night, and they took it to the Celtics. So the Celtics just kept playing the same game.
Well, the unforced turnovers, it's just, I mean,
you got to know when you're playing against a zone.
I mean, they just dribble up and dribble off their foot. I mean,
well, the turnovers weren't a problem till the end of the game. They only had 15 last night, and like 5 of them came late.
It's a lot. 15's
Right, but the magic number with the Celtics is 15. Above 15, they lose, and below 15, they win. And 15 is not egregious. It's not crazy, but they were late turnovers. They were 3 minutes to go in the game turnovers.
But Russ, a
Critical.
lot of them were not defended turnovers.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
unforced errors. They were
Traveling,
break spots.
throw it
Yeah.
away.
Tatum had 2 travels, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. He threw it away
Critical,
3 times,
like-
3 straight possessions.
Yeah, critical times too.
And
When
how
they
many
were
times
down,
is it-
they were only down 5.
this team has the tragic combination of arrogance and tightness, right? They're arrogant, and then once the team gets the jump on them, you can see their entire team tighten up. And it's really like, you can see it. You can just watch the game, watch what they're doing, and you say, they're tight now, and it's going to be hard. They're
We
front.
watched Chris Webber, who ended up having a very nice NBA career, and he was a star of Michigan and is now an announcer, is famous for just turning around during the championship game and throwing to another player.
Yeah. I remember that play. I was watching it live.
Malcolm Brogdon's done that like 4 times in the playoffs. Again last night, turns around, throws the ball behind him to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta. These guys got to remember, when you're playing against the zone, there's always going to be someone coming up behind you.
You wonder if Butler's going, "Hey, Brock, give me the ball, Brock. Maybe he knows a nickname or something."
He cost us a game in the Sixers series by throwing it to Maxey. But
Yeah.
behind, I mean, what is this? Is this exactly what you said, Russ? They just get tight, they get nervous.
They get nervous. They get tight. You know, they it's just this, it's the worst combination, right? They don't have no humility. This team has no humility, right?
Right.
So they play arrogantly. And then when it doesn't go their way, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's not going our way. Now, and then they get nervous. And there's just this bouncing between, you know, when they're out ahead and they're front runners, boy, there's nothing prettier to watch.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, they're amazing. But
And Marcus is the most mature guy on the court. Now, Marcus.
Yeah, but he just disappeared in the second half.
well, Joe, he got
corner.
hurt and he didn't play for like 20 minutes.
But I
and
thought he was playing fantastic. I thought
he was playing great. Marcus Smart was not the problem last night, fellas.
Marcus is fine when Rob is behind him. Then he can play right on the ball. He can play strong. He can play tough. But when Rob's not there, Marcus kind of disappears nowadays.
Why isn't Marcus always on Butler? Am I missing something, or they just taking him off screen?
They're switching. They're running Butler off of screens. I mean, they're just getting Butler on
Whoever they want.
matchups. Yeah.
And the rotation. Do you? Pritchard can't play again the rest of the series.
I wouldn't. I don't know
That was
why.
embarrassing.
No, I don't think you'll see him again.
I mean, will
They
you
were like
see?
They smelled blood when they saw him out.
Will you see Hauser? Will you see Grant Williams? Will you see
I
Blake
would hope
Griffin?
you would see Grant. I'd hope you'd see Grant Williams just to provide a little defensive resistance, you know, in tight parts of the game. But you could put basically whenever they run Duncan Robinson out there, couldn't you run Sam Hauser out there?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right.
But I think Missoula's getting a little tight there too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, he's already wound tight as a spring, and he's getting tighter too.
Well,
What do
when
you think,
everyone in
Brad?
the world is saying, yeah, Celtics are going to win. Like that can put a little pressure on you know.
So you think at halftime they were already celebrating, Timmy?
Yeah, I mean, like so many people have them as the favorite, and rightfully so. It's a very deep, talented team, right? I mean, this is the deepest team we've seen in this era, right? I mean, Tatum and Brown have never had this kind of talent this deep behind them. You know, the Brogdons, the Whites, you know, this is it. This is it. You know,
we added Brogdon. They lost Tucker and Hero, and yet they still beat us. I mean, can they literally just get, like Moses Malone said, 4 guys off the playground and beat the Celtics as long as they put the Heat uniform?
I have full faith the Celtics are going to win this series. I really do. I think talent prevails. These guys have been through this. I'm not panicking after one game. I'm not.
Be careful, Tim. I had full faith the Bruins were going to win their series too.
Yeah.
Well,
I
the other issue here, I hate to bring this up, Timmy, but Missoula's pulling a little bit of a Monty with like futzing around with the rotation in the middle of a playoff series, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here with this rotation?
those games where you see the Celtics shoot 50% from three, you go, it's not sustainable. I'm at the Garden, and all I do is I look up at the percentages on the board, right? Like, what percent? The Celtics might be shooting 22% for threes. You go, okay, so it's going to average out. Like, they become a baseball card over 7 games. You know what I mean? Like, Miami's like one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league, I believe, right?
Yes.
They've been shooting very well in the playoffs, though.
No, they shot very well against Milwaukee, and they shot very badly against the Knicks.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't think what they're doing is sustainable.
It's not. Look, the Celtics are not going to have another 46-point quarter. My guess is in game 2, they'll give up maybe 100. They should win that game. And you go down to Miami, the Celtics have played well on the road. Look, could they be up 2-1 in this series? I think so. But okay, when the Celtics are up 2-1 in this series, all right, what do you think is going to happen in game 4?
Yeah, we know they're going to lay an egg.
They've already squandered the home court advantage.
Right?
The home court doesn't mean anything to them. They
This
could
team
beat.
doesn't. They're 500 team at home in the playoffs. But like, do we think if they're up 2-1 in Miami, they're going to come out all guns a-blazing in game 4 to go up 3-1?
No, of course not.
So it's probably like, in the end, Timmy, you're probably right. It's probably coming home back to Boston for game 5, 2-2.
Yep.
And then we'll see what they're made out of.
I'm
They
really
did
worried
this
about.
to us last year. They did this to us in the first series. They did it against Philly. I think they got, these kids. They've got to a lot of Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, we've seen them do it. It's a hard, even when we won it in 08, every series won 7 games. I went to every freaking playoff game when they won it in 08, right? There were so many games that they pulled off. But I think they got the guns to do it.
Wait, in the Hawks series, what game did we lose? Did we lose game 1?
No, we won the first 2 games.
Oh, won the first 2. Okay.
We were up 3-1, right?
And then we lost games 5 and
We lost game 5 at home. That's what it was. We were up 3-1. Yeah. We lost game 5 at home and had to go back to Atlanta and win.
Of course, I went to that game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Look, if you can't,
You were raving about Trae Young, though.
if it takes 6 games to beat the Hawks, then the best case scenario is going to be 7 games for you to win a series.
The problem is that this Philly series shouldn't have gone 7. This series is probably going to go 7. So if we do make it to the finals, and probably against Denver, but we'll see, this team will have probably played 3 extra playoff games that they shouldn't have. And everyone's going to wonder, like, these guys look really worn down. Well, whose fault will it be that they look really worn down?
Especially in Mile High. In that
Oh,
area.
yeah. Go to Denver.
What kind of contract is Jimmy Butler on? Is he locked up down there?
Yeah, he's on a supermax.
Remember, he's been around forever, Timmy. He's not a young guy.
He was on Minnesota. He's 33, is he? He was on Minnesota. He was on Philly. He's been around.
He's been to a number of teams. He's pretty remarkable.
He load manages all season long. Then he puts on the cape and becomes playoff Jimmy.
But Al Horford.
Now, Colin just mentioned to me, Jimmy Butler was on the Bulls, right? They were up 2-0 against us, and then he got hurt.
No,
Bulls,
Rondo.
Timberwolves.
Was that?
He's
That was Rondo.
Al Horford. A lot of passing up, almost layups yesterday. I don't understand to kick it out to like Marcus Smart for a 3-pointer. I mean, they need Al Horford's offense. I would say the Celtics.
They need him to be involved offensively and defensively. The team works best when he's heavily involved.
And he hasn't been. He hasn't really been an offensive force in the playoffs. And for them to get where they want to go we need some good Al Horford games.
I agree. Yeah, I do. It's got to come from him or White, right? Him or White need to play well offensively because otherwise the load is carried too much by the two Jays.
And White looks tired to me. Is that my imagination? Doesn't seem to be as quick. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem
He
to be as
did play
tall.
in all 82 games, and he's played in each playoff, so maybe he is hitting a wall.
And before we finish up, and then I am going to get your predictions because we didn't have too much hero ball yesterday too at the trying to get back in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean they got it to 5, and then just really bad things started happening. You know, that was the other thing is, all right, you gave up 46, you got back into it, right? They really did, and
right away in the fourth quarter.
I mean, 5-point game with 3 minutes to go might as well be tied. Like it's statistically
It's
speaking,
a 2-possession game.
2 possessions, right?
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
getting stops at that point in time. And then they just started, they broke mentally. They started throwing the unforced errors. You said the term, Scotty.
Yeah.
That's what they were. They were unforced errors.
How about the king of bad basketball analysis? Was it Van Gundy or Miller that kept saying, "Oh, Tatum's got to handle the ball. Tatum's got to handle the ball."
No.
And as soon as he did, he turned it over 3 straight
Yeah,
times.
I mean, the most, honestly, Smart has been the most reliable ball
Yeah.
handler for this
Yeah.
team for a while.
Yeah, he was very mature.
What-
And Reggie Miller's
Jaylen Brown just has the worst handle in the world. I
Oh,
swear to
my
God.
God. I thought he was really bad yesterday. And Reggie he's tough to listen to. When he
Oh, I
said
can't-
Rob Williams is a bad free throw shooter, thanks for the analysis, Reggie. Why don't you take the rest of the night off?
I
He's
watched
not
most of
that
it.
bad.
with-
He's like 75%.
I actually watch it with the sound off when he does the games. I just find it gains me nothing to watch with him
No,
with the
it
sound.
doesn't.
You're talking about Reggie. You're talking about Reggie Miller, Russ?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, Van Gundy.
I mean, I like Stan Van Gundy. Jeff Van Gundy is just a crotchety old man at this point in time. That guy just wants to, he gets on the air and the first thing he does is start complaining about flops. And it's like the old man shouting into the wind. It's like, dude, no one cares.
And he's so ill prepared for the games. I don't think he even watches the NBA. It seems like the same shtick every time. All right, we got to go to
During the season, he whines about load management too, Russ.
Yeah, right.
All right, we got to go to predictions for the rest of the series. Timmy.
I got the Celtics taking it in 6.
Very,
here we
very
go.
optimistic. I like you.
All right. All right. Bet accordingly, Timmy. All right, Uncle Joe.
Oh, unfortunately, I'm not as optimistic. I'm more inclined to go with the professor and give 1 game to Spoelstra, 1 game to Jimmy Butler, and hope the Celtics can win in 7.
All right, Russell.
Joe just said it. Celtics in 7.
Yeah, I mean it's Celtics in 7, I think, right now. But if they lose
You're
tomorrow,
off the sweep then.
if
They lose tomorrow, I
is
mean,
the
look, but
series
here's
done?
the really confounding thing about this team is if they lose tomorrow and they're up against 2 back-to-back games on the road, you know, where their backs are against the wall, that's when they play better.
Or they'll fold up like they did last year in the finals.
They really don't fold. I got to tell you, though, that this is not a fold team. Like, they got beat in the finals. I don't think they folded up. I think the Warriors figured them out. I don't think they folded.
Warriors are a really good team in the playoffs. They're very good. I mean, and Steph Curry is out of this world.
Oh, he's
again
top 10 player of all time, I think.
Well, look, and Tatum ended up ending up being the best player on the court game 7 of the Sixers. But in the NBA, the best players team wins. It pretty much it's always done that. Look in the history of the NBA champions.
Jimmy Butler was the best player last night.
You know, right? Butler was the best player.
All right, so accordingly, Tatum is the best player, right?
It's on that night. Tim.
Yeah, Butler's been the best playoff player.
This year, who had a better year? Tatum. I mean, Tatum made All NBA first team.
No, Tatum had a better year, better regular season than Butler, but
all right,
Butler's
so
been the better
therefore,
player in the playoffs.
Therefore, no, Russell. My point is, he had a better year, by far, than Jimmy Butler, right?
Yes.
First team. What did Jimmy Butler make? Did he make 3rd team All NBA?
No,
No,
I don't think
Not
so.
either.
I don't think
So you're
so.
talking about somebody who had a year that made five, one of the five best players in the league. So we have the best player guy. Will
Okay.
he play up to? So what? Well, Scotty, you made the statement. The best player wins, right? We have the best player.
But it's the
But
one
last
that
night,
makes it
Timmy wasn't the best player.
Okay,
Jimmy
I
Butler
know,
was.
but if we're saying the best player wins, that means we win.
Okay, who would you rather have in the Celtics uniform for the rest of the series, Butler or Tatum?
You know what? The Tatum who hit 51 in Game 7. We're talking about
No, who would you rather have if you?
Game 7. He hit 51 points.
No,
the
I know.
guys get balls.
Okay, so you'd rather have
But I
Tatum
really
the rest
think
of the series.
I'll take Jimmy Butler. To tell you the truth, I'll take Jimmy Butler.
You take Butler.
I love Jimmy.
You
I
just-
love me some Jimmy Butler. No, but Scotty, what I'm saying though, Scotty,
That's
Scotty,
the
you
best
just
Yogi
said-
Berra imitation
Wait,
I've ever
I
seen.
think I might have
Scott.
just had a stroke. Can someone what's the thing? Fast, FAST?
what I'm going with is what Scotty just said. The best player wins, right? Well, technically, Tatum's the best player, right? I mean,
I know, but then you
Jimmy
just
Butler has proven he's great in the playoffs, right? But Tatum, like if you put Tatum at his best against Jimmy Butler at his best, who do you take?
Tatum.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay, but the question is, so you picked Jimmy Butler for the rest of the series. So we're doing a jersey swap. Russell, who would you take? And
No,
don't.
I mean, based on their playoffs so far, I would take Jimmy Butler.
There you go.
Tatum turned the ball over 3 times in the last. I mean, yes, he scored 51. The game before, he was 1 for 14 and pulled it out at the end. Last night, he took the ball away 3 times at the end of the game. It's
And
like
Butler
Dr.
never
Jekyll
does
and
that.
It's Dr.
No.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Butler never does that. He's consistent. The Heat may lose games, but it's not because Jimmy Butler did anything.
Yeah, he doesn't just disappear.
No. He's the most coordinated guy I've ever seen. I mean, the guy's remarkable. All right,
And
Joe.
he finds all sorts of different ways to impact the game. Even when he's not scoring, he's impacting the game somehow.
Joe, who do you take, Butler or Tatum?
Oh, I hate to say this, but I'm with everyone else with Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I just love the guy's effort, his competitiveness. Yeah, I wish Jason Tatum had half of that. We'd have the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler might be the first time that I've had such admiration for another team's player. I mean, he's hard not to admire. He's hard not to admire.
The guy's remarkable. Yeah, I have to take Butler by the fact that, yes, in the last 5 minutes, Jason Tatum could do remarkable things or he could shit the bed.
Yeah. Even when we're playing against LeBron, I just hated LeBron's guts, every fiber of him, and I didn't respect him. I didn't like him. I didn't want him on my team. I just didn't like the guy. Jimmy Butler, boy, you can't help but admire him. What he does.
Remarkable. All right, boys.
Especially when he's out there on the court with like 3 undrafted guys, and somehow they're making it work.
Yep. All right, boys, we got to get to the Boston Red Sox as season ticket holders. They've played 40. How many games have they? They were 24 and 20, 44 games. Are we happy with the season to this point, Uncle Joe?
Oh yeah, well, we all kind of predicted a 500 team. Russ predicted a little more optimistically than the rest.
I never. What did Russ predict? He never mentioned
86 wins.
Oh,
he was the most optimistic.
86. Oh my God, because he's kept silent about that.
We were 81, 82, waffling around there.
How many wins do they have right now?
24 and
Tim was at 50.
I was at 70.
Look, they've proven out to be a interesting team. We're 2 meltdowns from Kenley Jansen to really feeling greatly encouraged about this team. They've been competitive. They've had guys who have gotten a lot better, or they've played better than expectations. I think you couldn't have asked for more in mid-May.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're on an 88 win pace, so they're in the bottom of the wild card, standings. Basically, they're looking up, a game or two. And that will take, the expectations were not for that, and if they're in the wild card hunt all year, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah, makes for fun times at Fenway.
Right.
But you've had guys, I mean, Yoshida, what grade will we give Yoshida, Timmy?
Is she a B?
Yeah. Joe.
What do you give?
Oh, I'll give him an A minus.
Yeah, Russ.
Yeah, A. I mean, absolutely. Guy's been very good.
Actually A plus for a guy to come into the league. Remember Japan has different size baseballs. I mean, it's a completely different sport in some level.
And he's looking better in left field than he did at the start of the season too. He's adjusting.
Oh my God, this guy and the potential. And again, remember, we just gave money. We didn't give any players for him. You got a starting left fielder, a legitimate, at the very least, probably 20-80 guy, batting 280, 290, and he didn't give up anything in his prime of his career. Jared Duran, we're going to go to Russ.
Oh, no.
Whether you like him or not, whether you like him or not, Jared Duran is putting up great numbers with a good
That's
attitude.
an A. I'm not arguing with what Jaron Duran has done so far. I'm just understand. I just don't think he's going to keep it up. But so far, you give Jaron Duran an A. Well, I'm not an idiot.
A plus.
Hey, now, is this where they projected Duran originally to be this kind of player?
Oh, great question. I don't even remember anymore, to be honest with you. Yes, he was supposed to be, he was a highly touted prospect. As highly touted as Cases, I don't remember. But yes, highly touted.
I think more so. He was fast.
No, he was never as highly touted as Casas. He was a late bloomer. He popped all of a sudden in the organization, and they moved him fast, right? And then he was really highly regarded, but he popped pretty late, I think.
But they brought him up too soon, as they've done with a lot of guys in the last 5 years.
Verdugo, A plus. I think Verdugo on and off the field, and him getting in shape, and he's a leader. He's a great personality. He makes that Mookie Betts deal less painful.
Yeah,
he's 300 hitter, plays a very good right field. What's not to like there? I'd like a little more pop. That's about all.
Is he going to turn into a pumpkin though again, like he has?
Well, last year he hit 290.
Now, just by the way, just this is surprising. Verdugo is 5 months older than Jaron Duran, by the way.
Oh, is that right?
I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah, or Jaron Duran was that old. Jaron Duran is 26 years old.
You say Verdugo's 5 months older
than
Duran?
Jaron Duran.
Verdugo seems like a grizzled veteran, right?
Yeah. 5 months older.
Holy crap!
What do they do with Duvall when he comes back?
Oh, there's plenty. You put him at DH. Sometimes you put Turner at first, depending with Casas. Like, happy to have him back. Come on in. More good players.
Could Duvall play first? Because I got to say, Turner looks terrible over there.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, you would hope. Apparently, Duvall's a big guy. I don't see it, but everyone's like he's a big guy. I have to see him in person.
Joe would take Casas out, you mean?
No, platoon with him,
Because Duran, as it's currently, he's playing. He's not going anywhere. He's not leaving center for anybody.
You're going to ride him until he falls off the cliff.
Which we're all rooting for him not to, right, Russ?
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I'm a season ticket holder.
He's a Red Sox fan first.
I want them to do well, all of them. I'm not rooting against any of them. I'm skeptical about some of them.
I knew you and Jill were at the game yesterday, and I was rooting so hard for Duran to do well, just so that he could do that in front of you. And he played a great game.
He played well. By the way, Connor Wong is also within 4 months or 5 months of Verdugo and Duran. He's basically the same age.
Yeah.
Duran. That's what we're going to call him from now on. Duran.
Okay, so in our seats in section 30, the third baseman we see behind the third baseman. And I've looked at Devers behind from Section 30 for the last 3 years. And let me tell you something. When he signed that big contract, the concern was that he'd get heavy. He's heavy. His ass is as big as Guatemala. The guy must have gained 30 pounds. Because if you look at him now, he is heavy. And I don't think he's got a good season.
Gotta get another, what's his name?
Pablo Sandoval, maybe not that bad.
No, he's not in that league.
But I don't think Devers has been good at all. A lot of bad.
They're gonna start butting on him.
Bads. I don't know. I mean, that was the fear of signing a guy like this to a big deal. And I think he's played a terrible third base too. They need more out of that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some big numbers, but he's got some smaller numbers, right? The problem is his average. He's hitting 260, right? We expect more.
I don't
from
think
him.
he's even hitting that.
I don't even know if he's hitting that, but
he's hitting
230.
259. He's hitting 259.
But
And his OPS is still 828.
Well,
I mean,
he's popped that up recently then because it was down like in the 220s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's hitting, as of last night, he's hitting 259. His OPS is 828. I mean,
But his OBP, his on-base percentage, if you remember, I texted you guys
low.
last week,
Only
Kate Tassis had a higher OBP.
yeah, it's 304. His OBP is 304.
That's
Yeah,
unacceptable.
He swings at everything.
He does swing at everything. He's been
Look, he's probably, the weather gets warm, the guy's going to probably go on a tear. I mean, he's one and a half, he's 10 days away from batting 285 with big numbers.
Yeah.
He does drive in a lot of runs.
Yeah.
Especially where he bounces all around the lineup too. So you can't say he's always got, ducks on the pond for him.
He's got
The
40
real
RBIs in 43 games, guys.
Yeah, but the Red Sox have had a lot of hits. He's had a lot of guys on bases to drive in.
But 40 RBIs is still 40 RBIs.
Yeah,
No, I understand.
still the most RBIs on the team.
I'd give him a C minus, to be honest with you. And his defense has been horrible.
Well, your expectations are higher for him.
So, Scotty, you're in a plane with Rafael Devers and Jaron Duran. The plane's going down, and there's only 2 parachutes. Who are you giving the other parachute to, buddy?
He's taking them both just in case one fails.
No, of course.
Who's going over, Scotty? Who's going over?
Jared Duran's going over. Of course he is.
All right.
Is David
Okay.
Krejci on the plane too? Because just want to make sure that give him a nice handshake before we take off. That's a great question.
But give one of them your backpack and tell them it's a shoot.
The biggest.
No, that's what we do with Ryan Brazier.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right, I knew we all had a bounce in our step, knowing that Ryan Brazier will
God,
never have
that
to
was
pitch
awful.
again. Even he.
Don't count him out. They might bring him back. He's been brought
Even
back
he
before.
said he sucked. Even he said he understood the move,
Yeah.
and he couldn't believe he was there that long.
Think about all the guys who could have been on our team right now, other than without protecting him.
Does he take a pay cut getting sent down?
But Brazier, no, he's got cut.
He
not
got
getting-
TFA'd.
Yeah, but he's
So he still
guaranteed
gets
contract.
he gets his pay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to make $2 million.
When the contract ends, he gets no more money.
No, he doesn't. He's going to have to get a real job. I think the big failure after 44 games with Hein Bloom has been shortstop. That he thought that Kiki Hernandez could take that position. After Kiki Hernandez was hurt last season, it's a complete failure, both defensively and offensively.
I
Yeah.
don't even blame Kiki. I blame that's not where he should be. That's not the right place.
Yeah, and that you're right. And then Joe, you keep on talking about Mondesi. I mean, this guy, he's not. I don't even know.
No,
if he
he's
played
on the
this-
60-day. Yeah, I mean, no return in sight. Story, no return in sight.
Okay, but then please, somebody answer this question. I've not seen on the. Is Story coming back to play shortstop?
No, I can't believe with what I saw for an arm last year that he could ever play shortstop again. He'll never play on the left side again, I don't think.
Well, wasn't that addressed by the surgery,
I'm not sure it was.
Russ? I mean, have you heard anything? I mean, because if he can play shortstop,
I mean,
all of a sudden-
I'm with Joe in the sense that I can't imagine you put him back at shortstop this year. Now, whether his for the rest of his career. I just don't know enough about the surgery, whether it's completely, but he's not coming back to play shortstop for the Red Sox this year.
Well, are the Red Sox, Timmy, going to keep Kiki Hernandez on as shortstop for the rest of the season?
Well, I don't see the season going very well if he's our everyday shortstop.
Oh yeah, he's the worst in the league.
That's a critical position.
Yeah.
If I would go out and find just just an incredible defensive shortstop. I don't care if he batted 100. You know what I mean? Just a guy who makes every play he's supposed to make. And
Well, look, they got this kid Reyes. Is that his name, Reyes?
Yeah.
And he's actually played fantastic for a week. I mean, obviously he's going to turn into a pumpkin, but you got to give his props. The kid is remarkable.
And he's turned a couple double plays. I don't think Kike's turned any all year.
Yeah.
So is this, I mean, we go from Xander Bogaerts to basically a tryout, a day tryout each day for who's playing shortstop.
Hey, Scotty, that's your BFF Heim. He
Yeah.
made that. He made all those decisions.
Because
I couldn't believe they were going into the season with Kiki as the everyday shortstop. I was
Well, and
absolutely
the
flabbergasted.
replacements are just as bad. Arroyo at short, Bobby Dahlbeck has played short. They've had some really crazy.
Yu Chang.
You know what amazes me? Like, go through the college ranks. USC, UCLA, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. There's not some college shortstop out there that could do a better job than him at shortstop.
But Timmy, all he does is draft shortstops.
Yeah.
They ultimately, that's all he does. Every guy
and we have the worst shortstop in the league right now.
Well, to be fair, the best athlete on almost every amateur team is the shortstop.
It's like a
Shortstops
running
and
back
pitchers.
in football. It's like the running back in football, right? Or the linebacker.
Running backs and linebackers in football in amateurs.
Has Sedella been playing shortstop in Worcester?
Rafaela?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question because they call him a utility man. I think
He
he
has
plays
played
outfield.
center field short. Second is what they think is going to be his position in the majors.
Second, is that right? That's going to be interesting. What they're going to do. I like Valdez a lot, to be honest with you.
I do too.
I like that guy. Sweet. He's a professional hitter.
He's a terrible fielder and can't turn the double play, but he's got potential. He
will be in the major leagues for quite a long time.
Well,
because that kid can hit.
You can live with that defense if you had a really good shortstop, but you can't live with that defense for very long if you have a crappy shortstop.
You got someone to kind of lead the way and pick up. He's got decent range. It's just that he backs up on every ball, so you're never going to get a double play.
Hey, so how long are we from seeing Marcelo up in the majors?
Years.
2 years.
So you'll see
Maya,
him go.
2 years.
You'll see him promoted to Portland probably in June or July. He'll spend the rest of the year in Portland. If he plays well, he probably starts in Worcester. Would you agree, Russ? And
I mean, they've done it both ways. They've started guys in Worcester, or they've started them at Portland for a month, and then they bring them up to the AAA.
You mean that would be in 24?
So he'd be 21, 22 years old. His majors.
Well, look at Devers was in the majors at what, 19? What was Xander in? Xander was he was like what, 21?
He was very
22?
young too.
Yeah, I think he was over 20, but very young. Yeah.
It's not out of the question that Mayer could be up in the middle of next season.
Yeah, could he be a call up in July or August or I guess they don't do September call up. Yeah. I mean, if he performs well, but he's not going to be up. He's not going to be up before the middle part of next year.
No,
right?
No.
One certain, and then once he's there, hopefully that's
Yeah, you're not going to see him this year. No ifs, ands, or buts. There.
Scotty's bubby Nick York is probably going to be tied at the hip with Mayer. So second baseman and shortstop of the
got some really interesting things because look, the dream, at least my dream, infield is Devers, Mayer, York, Casas. That's right. I think that's
hypothetically, that's good.
And then I don't know where that puts Story, to be honest with you. That's where I don't understand. I don't know whether you can trade him or
Well, how many more years we got Story on the
Yeah,
contract?
you couldn't get a
lot.
bag of balls from Redmond.
You'd be getting close to the end. By the time those guys are up, Story's contract there'll be only like a year left or something.
Yeah, you just eat a couple of years, and that's it.
And Casas, who's played very well in the last 40, 50 up at bats, he's a stud.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He's so big, even from section 30, right, Joe? We look at it like, holy shit.
I wish he'd get the bat off his shoulder. It's like he's trying to work a walk every at bat.
But
He goes up there for a walk. He doesn't go up there for a hit.
well, I mean, are you guys still selling high on him?
Oh, I am. I like the way he's got a great eye. He's got a great, strike zone. He knows what he's doing, but he's got to get the bat off his shoulder sooner or later. He's got to
He's trying
start
to be the
swinging.
next Kevin Youkilis,
No, he's going to be the next Tristan Cases. He's going to be, if he does it right, he's going to be. Obviously, he's not Mo Vaughn, so I'm not putting him in Mo Vaughn here. But he's in our lifetime going to be the second best first baseman that we've ever had.
Let's hope so.
George Scott.
I thought Michael Chavis had that role there for a while.
Michael Seamus. All right,
Mitchie Two Bags played a little for us, didn't he?
Let's spend the
Bring him
next
back.
5
Dig
minutes.
him up and
Russ.
bring him back.
Russ gets the floor for the next 5 minutes.
We'd be a better team with Mitchie Two Bags. We'd have a better record. I guarantee you that.
When's the last time you talked to Mitch? Be honest. Was it this morning? Last night?
No, he lost my number.
It happens.
He was a good platoon player.
He was
He's
He's
terrific.
making
making
number.
drinks right now out of the camera from Russ right now. He's mixing up martinis right now.
Yep.
Wait, would that be Russ's greatest love since we've been doing the show, Mitchie Two Bags? Or David
He
Krejci?
loves him some Krejci too.
It was
No,
right.
Bergie.
Guys who are
All day
counted out.
Bergie.
I like the guys who are counted out. Scotty likes the phenoms.
Yeah.
I like the phenoms. That's true. I do. I like superstar
The bonus babies.
I don't like dirt dogs. That's for Timmy. He likes every dirt dog known to mankind. He would rather have someone beat the shit out of someone and lose the game than
I'll take Terry O'Reilly over Rick Middleton any day.
I know you will. All right, let's go to the Patriots. Oh my God.
So here's some breaking news. The Patriots have officially cut the last player who was drafted in the 2019 draft. This isn't the 2013 or 17 draft.
Wow.
There are now,
Yodny.
with the cutting of Yodny Kajust, no players left on the Patriots from the 2019 draft.
Wow. That's embarrassing. And only
Wasn't
one.
that Nick Casario's last draft?
So that was the draft we took. Win.
Nope. N'Keal Harry, Juwan Williams, Chase Winovich, Damian Harris, Yodny Kajust, and just a bunch of nobodies, plus the punter, who was the worst player in the National Football League.
Damian Harris, the running back, is gone.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Buffalo.
Oh, right. He did go to Buffalo. I forgot. And I just want to mention
Wow,
the
I didn't even
2018
know
draft.
that. I did not know that.
The 18 draft only has Bentley.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
And 20 only
Thankfully,
has
we've
4
had-
guys.
We've had a couple decent drafts since then. So that's
Yeah,
good.
we've had a couple good ones. Yeah.
20 only
You know,
has
I'm
4
very-
guys.
I'm-
this year.
20 has 4 guys?
I am this year's draft is I'm the most optimistic about the draft that I've been in a long time.
Oh,
I
Bob,
don't
you
know.
and Bob Kraft. Bobby, oh my God, did you hear Bobby? Oh, he just loves this draft. He was talking to
I
Jonathan.
like it too. I like it a lot. I think there's a lot of guys from this draft that are going to stick around and do something.
Well,
I don't know
better.
why. I
mean,
just feel like that.
if they better.
We'll see.
Did you guys see the Patriots porn, the 7, 5, 6, 7 second video of Christian Gonzalez defending? Oh my God, this guy's like a freaking ballet dancer. The
Yeah.
Oh, is
guy
that right?
moves like a video game.
He's like cream getting poured out of a pitcher.
Mhm.
He's the smoothest fucking. His hips are like
What a
beautiful to
gyroscope.
watch. I mean,
Did you see the video,
Yeah.
Timmy?
no.
I
Oh.
saw that one you're referring to.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Evan Lazar, who I follow, is actually a very good follow, and he now works for Patriots.com. He's a real hardworking, like a Mike Reese guy. He said that's the most exciting preseason video he's ever seen in his career. It is 5 seconds. The guy, the only rap on him is whether he's willing to tackle.
Yeah.
I don't think defending is going to be an issue.
Well, who else used to be like that too was the guy
Gilmore.
who played two sports. The guy who played two sports.
Oh, Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Sanders didn't like to tackle either, right?
No interest. Gilmore had very little interest in tackling either, did
Yep.
he? Yeah. But
No, he didn't come up and run support all that often. That's for sure.
when Gonzalez is a lot bigger guy than, well, at the very least.
Oh, a lot bigger.
He's got size too, right? I mean, what's he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the biggest guy they've had since Joe Juan Williams.
That's
Jonathan,
what
yeah.
he looks like a graceful gazelle out there, the way he moves.
Yeah, I completely screwed up the Williams.
Where do I find that little tidbit?
What the thing? So our takeaway
I'll
from the
send it
show
to you if I
tonight
find
that
it.
Timmy's got a big crush on Jimmy Butler and a bigger crush on Christian Gonzalez.
Hey, how lucky did we get that the things fell the way they did, where he landed in our lap? I mean,
well, we'll see, but yeah,
yeah. Sometimes it's there's a reason why he landed in your lap.
No, but what I'm hearing,
A la Mac.
they put the helmet on, and Jonathan Jones couldn't stop talking about him. So they put the helmet on. They went on an NFL field, like Kevin Booth taught us. They saw him in an NFL field, and they're like, "Oh, that guy's really good. Who's he? Oh, his name is Christian Gonzalez. Guy's a stud. They need a stud back there."
Well, the way the ball's thrown around these days.
All right, so we're gonna give him to. I don't
So I
get.
see a little smirk on Russell there. I see a little smirk.
No, I'm going to send you the video, Timmy. You're just so excited. I don't want to
Are you
send it to
seeing
you
it?
on camera though, because you may have a fit or something. Worried about your health.
I am by myself in my car.
Well, we've never had a show where Timmy had a happy ending,
Little
but
Timmy time, little Timmy private time here.
Yeah. I hope you're in a private spot, Tim.
well, wait, just don't pull a what was it, Ryan McGuire?
Reese McGuire.
Reese McGuire. You know the Reese McGuire, right, Timmy?
No.
So he's the catcher of the Boston Red Sox. Reese was very busy in a Walmart parking lot in Florida. What is it? A couple years ago, and was arrested for. I guess he was watching a Christian Gonzalez video.
You're getting busy. Getting busy.
So be very careful. Did you see it, Russ? Did you call it up?
Yeah, I just sent it to Timmy. Now I'm
You
going
just
to
sent
find
it to me.
What,
Oh,
Reese
you did,
McGuire?
I don't know whether I should watch Colin's game or that,
oh my! I guess we have to end on that. That's it. Well, boys, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank, of course, the fellas. Please check us out.
Can anyone send me over some gel or lube or something?
Jesus, we better end this show.
Oh my God, we should have ended it 10 minutes ago. That's our show for tonight. Check out our website if you feel like it. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.